yourself. And don't share your gift. Yeah, your gift is a seed. You can easily be the change that we need. Keep your mind alert and your heart with peace. Be the change that we want to see. Yeah, don't share your gift. Yeah, your gift is a seed. You can easily be the change that we need. Keep your mind alert and fill your heart with peace. Be the change that we want to see. Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Mentality Unchained. I am your host, the neighborhood therapist, Dr. Kevin Thomas. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Particularly, this is Women's Month, and I wanted to really touch and agree with some nice and over-deserving women. This person right here is unique in her own right, and if anybody in the Rockford area knows, I call her, she's my new best friend. I call her Miss 1908 because she represents those AKAs out there. Big shout out to the AKAs, especially in the Rockford and the Midwest. But without further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Miss Rhonda Greer-Robinson. Thank you for joining me, Miss Robinson.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. So we're going to get into some conversation. I just really want to just talk to you, right? I want the people to know who Miss Robinson is, and I'm saying Miss Robinson because I respect you, but I also want them to know that you are a respectable woman. You have been in this area for so long. You've taught our babies. You've created avenues for our kids to grow, and so I want them to know who you are as a person because they know the fighter. They know the one that stands up and yells from the beginning of AKA, like, hey, let's do what we need to do. But who are you? Like, introduce yourself to the people.
I am a mother. I'm a daughter. Mm-hmm. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. Mm. I'm a leader in the community. Okay. And I'm a listener.
Okay. Tell the people about some of the things that you've done over the years. I know I've already plugged the AKAs, like that's my first fam. But what have you done in the community, and what are you doing now? What are you involved in?
You know, it was really a good adventure for me to join the Rockford branch NAACP. Yeah. I was involved in the NAACP in college, but it was a different level. Okay. But under the leadership of Lloyd and Dion, I learned a lot, and I said, okay, you know, this is something that I'm enjoying. And our state president stated to me, she says, Rhonda, why don't you run? I'm like, I'm not ready yet. And Lloyd had an incident where he had to step down. Okay. And I was like, second vice. She said, well, I'm moving you up to president. I was like, okay. And there it was. And boy, did I learn a lot in that position, how to lead, how to run committees, how not to be afraid and to speak my mind, and then look around and see all of the people, the blockers, and learning about the political life. Okay. And it was very interesting. Yeah. And now, as president of my sorority, I have some of those skills already embedded. And I thank the leaders, Teresa Haley of NAACP, and of some of my past teachers from college. I went to Russ College in Holly Springs, Mississippi.
HBCU.
You know it. You know it.
Yes.
I pledged a service sorority called Gamma Sigma Sigma.
Okay.
But you know, then I came back to Rockford early, like in my 20s, and I said, you know, I always want to be a part of AKA. So then I joined the grad chapter. But it's so funny, my line sisters from Russ College, when I go for homecoming, they said, and they're Deltas, Zetas, and everything. Yeah. And they say, don't forget what you were first.
Yeah, right.
It was like first? A Girl Scout sorority.
You didn't think it was a real thing, right?
Right. And you could pledge again. So,
yeah.
But we were acknowledged on the campus. So, that gave me a lot of leadership skills. And I was the cheerleader captain at my college. So I got to travel, drive the college van, go to Memphis and buy socks and tennis shoes. And, so learning responsibility it was something that I cherish. Being a teacher, and I said I'm a teacher. I'm still a teacher. I'm retired, but I am still a teacher.
It's in you.
It is not going away.
Okay. I understand
now,
that.
will I go back and work as a teacher, for pay? Probably not, but I will volunteer.
Okay.
I work with the Legal Women's Voters here in Rockford.
Okay.
So I went to Ellis School. I tried to go to a couple other schools, and I taught democracy. Why it's important to vote. And we did a mock election. I had the students go back home and interview their parents with questions. Did you vote? Will you vote? And why? And they had to give their rationale of, and they brought it back. Some said, their parents said, my vote don't count. And I was like, everyone's a vote count. And we have to steer away from that negativity that our vote don't count. Everyone's vote counts.
Gotcha.
Our ancestors fought so hard for us to vote. And you talked about women and women's right.
Yeah.
The women's suffrage. We fought, and it was a mixture of black and white women, but they fought for us to be women, especially to be able to vote, because we had no rights prior to that. They starved themselves. They walked million miles. They were incarcerated. So those things have to be remembered when it comes to voting, especially for us women. Wow.
So you have done quite a few things. I commend you on that, because a lot of women, again, being that, women's rights hadn't always been a thing. The fact that you are willing to do it. But who is Rhonda? Like when people look at you and when they think about who Rhonda is, like you started kind of describing who you were. Like, who is Rhonda? Like when you were a kid, what was Rhonda like?
Shy and timid.
Really?
Very shy and timid.
And they see you today, that wouldn't even equate. Like, there's no way.
You have to thank Russ College. Southern girls are different.
How did you get down there anyway from Rockford?
Oh, God bless you. Blessings from God. Blessing my godfather. He was here in Rockford. His name was Reverend Clarence Greer, bless his soul. He passed away last year. He got a bunch of us together, Troy Brown, Danny Harris, Melody Harris, myself, the Bakers, because him and Pastor Baker, Baker were like best friends.
Okay.
And they sent us all to Russ College.
Wow.
I was trying to go to the Navy with my friend Lillian.
Okay.
My dad said, nope.
No.
You are not going to the Navy. He had been in the Air Force, and he said it wasn't for women.
Wow.
He's a little biased.
It sounds like it. So you end up at Russ College.
Russ College. And I thank God every day.
Really? You got an experience of the culture.
Yes.
There you go.
I love the South.
You do?
I love the South.
Yeah. I think that's what the South does for you. I think even as our parents and grandparents have migrated to the North, there's still a sense of Southern in them. And so you can never escape that hospitality once you had it, despite of all the historical things that happened.
Yeah. But the hospitality alone.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving in. My parents drove me into Russ. And all these people, they're outside, they're waving. I'm like, Dad, them. Because North, we don't speak like that.
No, we don't speak like that. We even throw a head, what's up, or something, a hand or something. We don't wave. Yeah, so that was a different culture for you.
It was different. And the best part of it, my great uncle taught at Russ College.
Really?
He taught business.
Where was he there when you went?
Yes, Walter Greer.
Okay.
And so I got a chance to spend time with my great uncle, and my great grandma lived in Winona, Mississippi.
Yeah.
So on holidays, I would travel with him to Winona. Sometimes I would drive, and it was just really getting to know her. She was biracial.
Okay.
And she just filled me with how she grew up and
Yeah.
her children, and she told me that she was the master's daughter. So it was all that enrichment that she gave to me. So I would get excited every time I would go down to spend time with her. I'd comb her hair, kiss all over her, and just love on her.
So would you say that transition from the North going to the South to Russ like really changed you and put you on the trajectory of who you are today?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. How does that even happen? Like, because it's a total mind shift because you're not used to seeing that type of cultural interaction, and you, a girl from the North, goes down there and just says, "Here, you're here. Now, what do you do with that?" Like, did you shy away from a lot of the things your freshman year? Or did you just engulf yourself in it?
I shied away, but I was a runner. So I ran track and field. I played volleyball. I was on a pom-pom squad at West High School. And I didn't get offered a scholarship in track and field because my senior year, I fell on the hurdles and I tore ligaments in my knee.
Okay.
So I went to Russ on crutches.
Oh, okay.
And I did a year, and my second year, they offered me a scholarship.
Okay.
So I had 3 years with a scholarship in track and field.
Okay.
It took a little load off my parents.
Yeah,
and,
of course, right?
Very good experience. And I had never ran. I was a sprinter. But
Really?
yeah, at Russ, you had to run cross country too. And I really enjoyed cross country, that mind game of keeping your feet going, passing that person in front of you. I would target girls. I'm going to get that one. I'm going to get that next one. Because I had to come in the first 7.
Okay.
And my coach, bless his soul, he would say, Greer. And I go, yeah. He goes, they're giving out trophies today. He knew I liked incentives.
Yeah. So he was manipulating.
Yes.
He was baiting you like she going to get her a trophy.
Yeah, I'm going to get a trophy or a T-shirt or a Nike bag, whatever they were giving out. And then I had friends who played tennis at Russ, very good tennis team.
Okay.
They would wait for me if it wasn't too late when we got back from meet. What you bring back, Greer? So that was my thing. And
wow.
Track really helped me focus in school. I knew I had to keep my grades up.
Yeah.
I know I had to stay focused. I started off as a physical education major.
Okay.
But I decided I didn't want to wear gym clothes every day.
I know.
So I went into elementary education. I switched.
Really? So why you didn't go into anything else? Why that? What was it?
I've always liked children.
Okay.
And back then I said, I'm not going to have any. I'm just going to teach them. Dad did not quite have it that way. I have 3.
3 of them, right?
3 wonderful children.
I get that. So when did your mindset change to the political aspect of it? Not so much political, but you do fight for rights. You are an advocate in the community. Like, when did that mindset change?
Watching our community and learning some of the incidents that happened, the Bob Moore, that one kind of
that was tough.
Leveled me. I was like, whoa, they did what?
Right.
That, and then little incidents, when I was the NAACP president for like 4.5 years, people would call me about job situations, about their children. And I also took the position at the Illinois NAACP on the state level. I was the education chair. So I would get calls from Chicago with little things like, as African-American teachers, we have to watch ourselves. We can restrain, or we can't do certain things that are the white teachers can do.
Okay.
They can grab on our children.
Right.
And drag on our children. But if we do it, we're getting suspended. And I experienced that too.
Okay.
So I would get calls about things like that, and I would address them. I would even little parts of Illinois too, where one little boy, and I'm not stating any names, he went to the restroom, and the little white boys decided to jump on him. But the principal, instead of addressing the situation, she called the police on the black little boy.
Wow.
And so I called in some other people to help with the case, and grandfather wanted to sue, and he already had trauma. He had dealt with a lot of trauma with his mother and et cetera, that his grandparents had custody, and he had an IEP. So that case was really touchy for me, and it was heartbreaking, and we got him back in school.
Gotcha. You being a teacher, being a woman of color, how does it feel being a woman of color in a school system that is challenged when it comes to the level of respect for people of color?
Good question. You have to not be afraid. We have to stop being afraid that we're going to lose our job, which can happen, because everybody needs their livelihood. We need to take care of our family, and et cetera. But it was hard. My 18 years, I did whatever I wanted to do in education. I taught third grade for 12 years. I taught sixth grade. I taught seventh and eighth grade language arts. I taught middle school. I went in as a middle school intervention specialist.
Okay.
I did that, and then I was a reading coach, a support specialist, where I dealt with a lot of behaviors and dealing with kids. And then I went to the behavior school, which was a different experience. And I ended my career at Ellis Elementary. But being of color, we're very good teachers. You'll find that African American teachers, Black teachers, they're good. They're focused. We have to stay focused. We have to have all of our ducks in a row.
Okay.
We can't slide out of there when school is out. We have to have our things together. Our counterpartners, they do differently.
Okay.
And if I could write a book on it, I could tell you a lot of things that we are treated unfairly.
Okay.
I coached girls track and field on high school level for 10 years. I was a head coach. I started off as assistant coach at West when I was a high school. I was a head coach at Auburn, Jefferson, and East. And it got political. I remember one track meet, my girls were very fast.
Okay.
I had very good runners. We were at an outdoor meet, and it's during conference. And you see them, you put them in, you see them, you go to a meeting, you see your kids, and you have to prove that, that they ran this time, et cetera.
Right.
I remember Melissa was really fast. She was like one of my 100 runners. And we had our 4x4 relay. They put my girls in a seat by themselves. I said, who are they running against? The wind? Because there was no one else they were running against.
Wow.
So that's when I experienced some discrimination.
Right.
And then later on, as my teaching career grew, it was times where African-American men who were qualified to be the head coach, but they were always the assistant.
Okay.
So we did a blackout. We went in with black T-shirts, and we talked about the unfairness. They didn't want to hear us. So what happens next? They start cutting us. It was times that I was a head coach, set up and got my whole team ready for the following year, Didn't really recruit, just put the word out. And had my team ready, and then I get something that said, you're not going to be the coach next year.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm a fighter. Can you explain why? Well, we decided. Who is we? Well, my name is Rhonda. Well, we just decided to go a different route. Okay.
Wow.
So, and I found that the white coaches, they kept their positions as long as they wanted it. They never had to reapply for their coaching position. Then I got smart. I found out that to be an athletic director, all you had to do was apply.
Oh.
So I applied for athletic director. And then it had a little part out there, athletic director, and then it had a little part for stipend. I applied for that too.
Okay.
So then our new superintendent came in, and then she's required for athletic directors to have administration certification. So I was like, I was in class for the administration part, but I didn't go the full thing. I did the full classes, but next I had been teaching over 11 years, so I would have to take the basic skills test over again instead of them just grandfathering me in.
Right.
And a couple of other teachers said, Rhonda, you should be grandfathered in. You shouldn't have to take it over. I already took it at Ole Miss. Why do I have to take it again? And, just got those different stipulations that they put, what we call them, barriers that they put in place to prevent. So I found out that after being a support specialist, which dealing with behaviors and parents, I get cussed out a lot, and it was a little easier sometimes working with African-American teachers. I'm like, look, come on, let's just talk about it. Look at me and look at you. Let's talk about it. You know how your child acts. You know what's going on. In most cases, Yeah. You can try to sugarcoat it. He's never done that at home, and you're like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that job I found it was okay. But when it came to being an administrator, it gets deep.
It really does.
In order to be an administrator here in Rockford, Illinois, you are removed from the union, meaning if anything happens, you have no protection. Well, with the mouth that I have, I could not take that chance.
I get that. I like that. I like that.
And then and they can move you as a principal.
Yeah.
For any reason. They don't even have to tell you why.
Right.
So my other half, he's a principal in Mississippi. And he's like struggling with something right now where he's at a middle school, they're trying to move him to a high school. But their laws are a little different. Yeah. If they refuse, then they suspend their certificate. But in Illinois, they could just do whatever they want to do. They can say, hey, you know what? I didn't like what you said at the board meeting, or I don't like how this situation was handled with this child on the bus or whatever, and we're going to move you downtown, or we're going to move you to this school, or we're going to put you back in the classroom. Now, you go back in that classroom, you have to remember everything you've done to those teachers that you were over. And so that's a little sticky situation. I didn't want to put myself in that one. Gotcha. And my comfort zone was the classroom. I love teaching because I learned along with it, I was one of those teachers. One of my principals just told me, he said last year, was the year before last, he said, you know what, sometimes I plug my ears when I come by your classroom. Because when it comes to social emotional, I talk about empathy. I talk about feelings. When we do our circles in the morning, sometimes I might say, okay, tell me about your weekend.
Right.
Or I might say, how do you feel? What made you sad this week? Yeah. Or what made you sad yesterday or during the week? And then I'll get to the kids, okay, it's your turn. What are we going to talk about in circle today? And they might say, people touching you inappropriately. Yeah. So I would give them the baton too. And it was just amazing what they would say in circle. And then I'll bring it back to them. I'll say, let's talk about your rights.
Okay.
At one point, I'm going to tell you this. All of a sudden, the person who was over human resource for my building was coming around looking to make sure that anyone had any political stuff in their classroom. Wow. Of course, they came to mind. Wow. But I did have like all over the wall, which stayed up all year, Obama, Michelle, Michael Brown.
Gotcha.
Who else I have? Beyonce. Any African American that I thought was important, they hung in my classroom all year long.
That's the crux of what I'm saying. It's like, why do we as people of color have to do those things to feel like we're doing our justice to our culture, and then also it almost feels like a defense against them that feels that we shouldn't be doing that. Like, why is that a thing?
I don't know. I also had that Illinois is a state and Rockford is a city and Winnebago is a county. Mm-hmm. They should be looking at those too.
Yeah.
I would play games like, who's our mayor? Mm-hmm. Who's our state representative? They don't know those things because, we talk about teaching cursive. Yeah, I taught cursive too because I figured if anything, they had to learn how to write their name in cursive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I followed the curriculum, but I did some of Rhonda's curriculum too.
Okay.
Because it's important. You want to teach social emotions, and you want to teach social justice, and you want to teach the Constitution a couple of months within a year.
Yeah.
Let's hit it all.
Yeah, I think that's true too. I think they've gone last few years. They've omitted a lot of things that really, when I was growing up, that were essential to being adults. Yeah. And I think they've just kind of just omitted a lot of those things. So,
teach writing. Teach persuasive writing. Teach a biography, how to write about yourself.
Right.
And tell our children what they're writing.
Do you think we're even in not so much in our schools, but in our homes, you think we're doing those things as well, teaching them about how to survive in life as an adult, learning these things in school, or what do you think we're doing as a household? Are we teaching these things as well?
At teacher-parent conference, I would kind of emphasize different things like that. I would tell them, well, if he wants you to buy him some new tennis shoes, tell him to write you a persuasive paper. Persuade you why you need these new tennis shoes, how you deserve these new tennis shoes.
Okay.
And we did student-parent or student-led conferences.
Yeah. And
so I would kind of throw that in because test them on their multiplications at home, right down the street, 9, 18, 27, because I would put my kids in competition. I taught competition too because it's a real life. One thing I didn't like is bullying. And we have to teach our children that bullying is not a part of life. If you want to be a leader, be a leader. If everybody don't agree with you, then you just, okay. It's okay. Right. It's okay if you don't agree.
Right.
But you still have the right to voice your opinion.
Right. Wow. I think that's fascinating because you're talking about it from an educational standpoint that a lot of us don't admit to. And then also we don't even want to be accountable for. So I love the fact that you were still teaching things that are valuable in life, like the cursive writing, like the persuasive writing, all those different things that we no longer use. And do you feel that that's by design though?
Yeah. I taught my kids, once I got access, you know what? I don't remember my teachers teaching me persuasive writing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember my teacher teaching me about why it's important to be educated. Those things we need to get back to. And the phonics. Yeah. The phonics is so important. I didn't get the phonics as a child.
Me neither.
I did not get so it affected my reading. So as I was teaching, I was learning too.
I like that.
Like the PH make the f sound. And I remember they had one wonderful program that came in education. It was Sharon Contreras-Halton was the assistant superintendent, and she persuaded me to go over to Lewis Lemon. And it was called Reading Mastery and Language for Learning.
Okay.
Language for Learning taught children how to talk. Like, this is a ball. And it was all script. And you would say, what is it? My turn. You say, this is a ball. And then you say, your turn. The kids would say, this is a ball. And it started in kindergarten. Then it was teaching the phonics. And I remember the young ladies came from Northern Illinois, a group of them. It was the best ever. But this is the killing part. Lewis Lemon had higher scores than the gifted program.
Wow.
And they the girls, they come in, they were college students, they'd teach. And one thing was like, bouncing ball, buh, buh, buh. And then, I remember one of the girls, I said, hey, get that buh side, buh for me. We'd go walk by them and go, buh. And those things are important for our children, that phonemic awareness. They're trying to bring it back again. But you know who started all? Marva Collins. Remember in Chicago, she quit the Chicago school system and she opened up her own school. And they said these kids had mental problems. They would never be successful. They all became doctors, lawyers, and stuff. Marva Collins. I read her book, Values, and it just turned me.
Really?
Then I visited her school.
Okay.
And I went into her daughter's classroom, and a little boy said, "Miss Collins, when you going to give me that A?" She said, "When you going to earn that A?"
Ooh.
I was like, yeah. So inspirations like that.
Yeah.
So our parents need to really get out there and get involved and see what's going on in their children's classroom. I was livid. I have my nephew's son was in the classroom, and he was having some behavior problem. His mom decided to put him on some medication. Now here, this medication part. If you know that your child is overactive and you see there could be a problem at school, take them to your pediatrician.
Okay.
Put them on the medicine yourself.
Okay.
The school doesn't have to be involved.
Right.
And you monitor their behavior.
Gotcha.
So I told her to do that, and I did it myself with my own child. Okay. Because I wanted them to get the basic skills.
Yeah.
But when the school turns around and starts belittling your child, did you take your medicine today? No, that's against the law. Education law is one of my favorites.
Right.
That's against the law. And a lot of parents in District 205, they've gone in and they sued the district. The district gave them $5,000, $10,000, shut them up.
Really?
This is the type of stuff that has gone on. And the kids weren't getting their service. I know they got mad at me at one point because I had an IEP meeting and the parent said to me, my child is to receive speech. Is he receiving speech? I said, no, your child hasn't had speech all year. Because they have shortage in areas, and like in special ed, the kids who have the IEPs, who get the pull-out, they don't get their services half the time. Yeah. And I suggested, and we have to be careful as African Americans, blacks, whatever one you want to be called. When you give them an ideal, they'll take it and they'll give it to my counterpartner. But it was my ideal. Yeah. So when I made the suggestion that the special ed teacher needs to come into the classroom and assist, they start using it, but then, those teachers can make their decisions too, and they want to pull out. But when they're getting pulled out, sometimes they're not doing anything. Yeah. They're just doing little things or arguing among each other. One of the biggest things in education is classroom management. I ran my classroom like a corporation. Okay. Everybody had a job. Now you can get in trouble, and I'll put you on unemployment, or I had another name for it. I can't recall, but just for a day. You can earn your job back. Okay. So you did have that opportunity.
So those were teaching elements of adulthood as well as they continue to go. I want to shift gears here because you're talking about this educational piece and people of color. It just blows my mind to hear you talk about this because I know that it's happened and it's still happening. But I want to switch gears because you're starting to talk now about mental health. Like, this is a mental health show and culture. We talk about culture as well. But this mental health element in schools, and even, matter of fact, let's make it a little bit personal because this is just what we do. What about mental health in your life? Even if it had to do with your kids or yourself or anyone, let's speak on that. Let's talk about that. I mean, I want you to feel free to talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it because at one point in my life, I had no balance. And I said, I need to talk to someone.
Really?
Yeah. I had some.
People won't say Rhonda didn't do that, right?
I did it.
Okay.
I was just struggling, It was like work, responsibilities, relationship, dark things in my closet. As African Americans, we don't talk about our problems.
I know.
We hold it in for years and years and years, no matter what happened to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a lot of skeletons in my closet.
Wow.
That I needed to talk about.
Thank you. Keep going. I'm just saying thank you.
One of my girlfriends, who was also a teacher, I think, I'm not going to say her name, but
don't say her name.
I think she's getting sick of me.
Don't say her name.
Just I want her to know I love her.
Okay.
I would go to her classroom every day, and I would talk to her, and she was just a wonderful listener. And I said, "Can I pay you?" She was that good.
Really?
I said, "Can I pay you?" And she goes, "No." And she goes, "Hey, Rhonda, if you want some help, let me suggest someone."
Okay.
And so she did. It was outside Chicago, and I started going. And I would go virtually, and I would go in person. The best thing ever. I'm thinking about going back.
I like that. Thank you.
Because
y'all hear what she said, right? Go ahead. Keep going.
I needed it. I needed that balance. I needed to hear someone else say, it's okay to be angry.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no, or it's okay to feel that way.
Right.
Or not like a person because of what they've done to you.
Yeah.
So that was something big for me. And what I did with that, I told my children not to be afraid to do it.
That's good.
And they're not, and they've done it.
That's good.
And they needed it. You have to really think about your family. You see it in your family. You see that craziness in your family. You see some of those same behaviors.
Okay.
And it could be way back, but you see them.
Yeah.
And you just have to acknowledge them and address them. Because I'll tell somebody in a minute, I know I'm crazy. So not to take me certain places. And I know when it comes. I know if you keep pushing the button, but I'm so good at it now, I can handle it so much better.
Okay.
I can say, that's your choice to feel that way.
Okay.
Or I can say, that's how you feel. It's okay with me. We'll never get along, but that was your choice.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to get along with you. Or I can just smile and rock.
So when y'all see Rhonda rocking and smiling, y'all
watch
already know.
out.
No, that's real talk, and that's hilarious though. I love the fact that you embrace going to therapy, and you embrace the actual concept of therapy. Like, because a lot of people, and let's just talk about it. Our people don't believe and we don't trust therapy.
No.
And so why would you, I know she gave you that advice, but like, what really made you like, okay, I think I can trust this lady that she's giving me advice to do this and do that. How did you really just be vulnerable to do that?
My Indian blood kicked in.
Oh, okay. Just your Indian side, right?
Yeah, I had my great grandma. She her bedroom was a tent. I spent a lot of time in the tent.
Okay.
I didn't chew the tobacco with her, but I did try that once. But
yeah, it make you drunk. Chewing tobacco and swallowing it make you drunk. And yeah.
But I never understood what she was saying, but I just sat there stared at her. But I could feel it. Okay. My instincts, her. She was just so sincere, so honest. And even after that, I went to marriage counseling, too.
Okay.
But, sometimes African-American men, my husband at times said, that white woman can't tell me nothing.
You need to see my episode with my wife. She'll tell you about that. Yeah.
And I said, stop. And then I got mad at the therapist. I think maybe he was swaying her.
Man, that's a real story right there.
He was using his charm and stuff on her.
Yeah.
And she was like, Rhonda, maybe you should. Maybe I should what? I am holding his hand, talking to him. I am working on my vocabulary.
Yeah. That's it. Like, Rhonda, when people look at this, they're gonna be like, "Really? That's Rhonda?
That's me."
Well, yeah. Because they don't get this side of you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate this because I pride myself trying to create a safe space for great conversation, because I think that this is where the heart of us as a people change, is like when we can express ourselves and be true to who we are, right? We don't have to try to put on this image and put this image before you. This is me. Who you see is who I am. This is not an image. So I love this. I appreciate this, and you need to do it more.
Well, thank you.
So let me ask you this. What would people, what's one thing about you that people will be shocked they know?
I go to the gym to work on my mental well-being.
Okay. All right.
So if you see me on the treadmill and I've been on there for an hour, it's relaxing me.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't run anymore due to the knee injury.
Okay.
But I lift weights to build not just my body, my muscle brain.
Your brain, right? Right.
So I'm a person. I'm real. I have feelings. I have doubts about myself. I talk to myself, but I don't answer.
You talk to yourself, but you don't answer. Okay.
Girl, get up and get to the gym. Did you finish that work? I don't answer. They would put me on a different level, right?
Oh, wow. You funny too. You are funny too. So that's awesome. So what do you tell yourself sometimes? Like, do you feel that you feel adequate sometimes, or not, or inadequate sometimes?
I feel inadequate sometimes.
Do you?
I do self-talk. I read. I'll take it. If I don't know it, I'll take it to a book.
Okay.
I like evidence. So the one thing I taught my students too, about evidence.
Okay.
About checking their grades.
Okay.
So I use that for myself. If I say something, if it's in a book, I'm going to bring it to your attention.
Okay.
I like research.
Okay.
I enjoy quiet times.
Me too.
I sit at home and nothing's on. And every once in a while, I like the rhythm of the music. I have to have some soul system music going.
Yeah.
Or I like walks. Okay. I like going for walks. I like settled conversations. I like talking about life. I like bickering sometimes.
Really? Okay, that's healthy. I mean, it's healthy, right? We don't always have to have casual.
Yeah, I like debating.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I like to
The older
debate.
I get, I love the debate.
I like
older I get, I love peace and debate. I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think that's good. So,
I taught my students how to debate. If something happened outside the playground, I said, let's take it to court.
That's creative too, though. Like that's engaging. I think that's good. Maybe some of us adults need to do that.
I say I'm the judge. I got to pick people, and we get so tickled. We would just laugh. I said, oh yeah. I said, you got caught on camera.
That's awesome, man. I love that. I think you are unique. I think that people, if they get to know you, will understand you. And I'm starting to understand you.
Yeah, I know I'm strange. I know about it already.
No. That's cool. Everybody's unique, right? Everybody's different. That's just who they are. So as we get ready to kind of wrap up a little bit, is there something or anything that I didn't ask you that you want to just talk about? I mean, anything. Because I don't. Sometimes I can over talk, and sometimes I can under listen. I just want to make sure that I capture you in essence. I mean, all of you.
Thank you for allowing me to talk.
Wow.
Thank you for allowing me to say some things that I've always wanted to say, and I've said it to multiple people, but I've never said it in this type of atmosphere, and it feels good. I feel radiated. I feel like we don't have to be afraid to speak up for ourselves and talk about ourselves, because God didn't make any of us perfect.
No.
And I don't proclaim to be perfect in any area. I have doubts about myself. I have doubts about my decisions, previous and past, and probably future.
Yeah, we will. We'll definitely do that. No, I think that's great, because that's the whole intent, is to empower.
Yeah.
And this show is always to lend a voice to the voiceless, the ones that really feel that they're nothing in their communities, and more particular in our Rockford area. I want to lend an ear to, we got real people doing real things that deal with real issues or challenges. Let me rephrase that, real challenges. And we can still be professional, And,
exactly.
And that's it, we're human, right?
I do feel that we can support each other better. You know, sometimes we tend to have that that clam. Is it a clam or? We want to pull each other down instead of
them crabs.
Yeah, the crabs. There it is.
Bucket.
I put them in
crabs in the bucket, right?
Yeah. We have to really focus on pushing each other, even if you think you know more than the next person, even if you're a little jealous. It's okay to be jealous, but control it. Control it. Control that jealousy because you don't want to make the other person uncomfortable and not feeling worthy. And even if you're in a new position, listen. Just listen. Yeah. Listen to some of the people who've been in the position. Listen to some of the barriers or some of the blocks that some of these blockers that you might come across. And just be mindful. Be mindful. I always tell people in certain situations, I don't function like that. And certain people don't function in certain ways. And I don't react very well to bullies because you cannot bully me.
Right.
I would tell you how I feel in most cases. If it's really hurtful, I'll try to soften it.
Okay.
And sometimes your feelings have to be heard. My brother had a discussion with me yesterday. It hurt my feelings, but he was right.
Okay.
And that's when therapy comes in.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing that you could have said today is that he hurt my feelings, but he was right. We have to give people permission to hold us accountable for our behaviors, the things we say, the things we do. Because at the end of the day, we're only human, man. And if you think you're perfect, and if you think you're going to hit a home run every single time, you're going to say the right thing every time, you're sadly mistaken. You're telling lies to yourself. That's the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. So if you got people in your circle and that you've created a circle where they can be honest with you, then I think you created a great thing. And so I thank you, Ms. Rhonda.
I thank you for allowing this platform. I have been watching all the wonderful things and all the things that you're doing within our community, and our community needs some healing.
Oh, thank you.
And you're doing it.
Man, thank you for your support.
You're taking off those Band-Aids.
Whew. Girl, it's hard though. It's hard because we want to keep those Band-Aids on. And it's so hard because once you pull that Band-Aid off, it's a scar that will never leave. And so
you see all that pus?
You see all of the disease in it.
Yes.
And so it is important that we take advantage of our opportunities to help one another. You're absolutely right. We have to come together. We have to start supporting each other from the depths of our hearts. Lanes are meant and created for a reason.
Oh, I love that one. Say that again. Say that again.
Lanes are made and created for a reason.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I am not about to venture in your lane because I have no clue.
It's like my father. My father said, he'll call me and ask me a question. He said, but I'm staying in my lane. I'm staying in my lane.
You have to, because that's the effectiveness of it. If we come together and everybody stay in their lane, then guess what? We created a huge avenue for us, a highway for us all to succeed.
Yeah.
And so, is there any way that people can follow you, can find you if they want to contact you? What do you got going on?
Well,
this is your time.
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Pi Gamma Omega. We are so busy. I have to give a shout out to Asia Horton and all the wonderful women of Alpha Kappa Alpha, Valerie Simon, Gwen Gully, Deanne Evans. Who else? Oh, it's so many of us that we are really pulling together, making things happen. We're preparing right now to get ready for Illinois, AKA at the Capitol. And Alpha's going to be there too one day.
Yep. We got the message in the morning.
Yes. And so I'm excited about that. We have our college fair. We're going to Chicago State. We're taking over 100-something students. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of things that we're working on. We dealt with some voting, meet the candidates. We had 2 forums to meet the candidates.
Okay, that's good.
We're still focusing on some of those avenues. We wanted to get our community together and make our people get out and run for different boards, not just boards, but county board, especially.
Okay.
Some of these positions in Rockford, we're all capable.
Yeah.
And we need to start not just taking those seats, but training our children for those seats. Because we have the same rights. Yeah. And we have to uplift them. I've been talking with someone dealing with the immigrants too. Okay. That's also important. And, I want to say to other organizations, get out there and see what they need, because some of them are Black and brown too. Okay. And just to really know your rights. Know your rights, support each other, continue to work on your mental health.
Thank you.
Because as we see already, it's caused some tragedies in our community already. Mental health did it. Yeah. And to make sure that these places that are to take care of people that have mental problems are fulfilling their responsibilities in our community.
Gotcha. Well, there you have it. We're wrapping up Women's Month, and Miss Rhonda Greer-Robinson has really eloquently stated, and on this podcast episode, she's really brought some things to light, and I appreciate her for it. I appreciate her honesty, her transparency about mental health, and I just appreciate her being her. And you guys, as you see her around, you see what type of person she is. Make sure you just, say something nice to her, because you don't want her to go to rocking back and forth and smiling. So as I always say at the end of my show, we all have the ability to make the change necessary only if we focus on what we can change. Thank you again for joining me for another episode of Mentality Unchained. I'm your neighborhood therapist, Dr. Kevin Thomas. I am out.